Welcome, everyone. Welcome. My name is Meagan Mermaid. Sorry, I'm just trying to get situated here. It's been one of those mornings. So, anyway, I'm so happy to have you guys here and to celebrate our new moon in Leo. So, we're going to be doing an integration ceremony for the Lionsgate. But in the meantime, we're just going to give everybody a moment or two to hop on. So, feel free to say hello. Let me know where you're joining from, how your day is going. I want to hear from you in the chat. And if you're new to my work, again, my name is Meagan Mermaid, and I teach feminine energy with the magic of the mermaids of Sirius. And I'm just excited to be here. It's just been one of those days where like everything was happening all at once, but it finally came together at the last minute. So Betsy's sharing, hello, Meagan. What is this crazy energy? Why is it making me feel so tired during the day? That's such a great question, Betsy. And thank you so much for joining us. You know what? There's a lot of energy that's happening. Even though we're out of the Lionsgate portal, technically we just had our new moon today, but oftentimes when we move from the dark moon into new moon, especially for women, because our energy levels are so connected to the moon, we often will feel more tired around new moons or dark moons. It's often the time when most women will be bleeding as well. So there's all sorts of things that can be sort of contributing to that. But I love that you shared that you feel tired because, you know, we're out of the Lionsgate portal, but we're still in a Venus retrograde, and we're still actually we're in the shadow of a Mercury retrograde that's about to happen on the 23rd. So there's still a lot of energies that are kind of pulling on us and causing us to sort of have to pause. So yay, Mariella is sharing hi from Toronto, Canada. Yay, feel free, anyone else that's joining live, to say hello and let us know where you're joining from. I'm so excited to be here with all of you today. And, you know, when I was really feeling into what I wanted to speak on today, the words that were coming up were disappointment and struggle and hopelessness. Like there's a lot of things that are happening both in our individual lives as well as in the collective that feel really dense right now. It feels really draining. I mean, we just had these huge fires in Maui. Joshua Tree was on fire. Hi, Julie. Good to see you. And you know, there's so many other things that are going on worldwide, and not to mention all of these collective energies. But then each of us are on this individual journey where, you know, we might have gone through a lot of difficulties in the past few weeks because Venus is in retrograde. You might be working through issues surrounding money or finances or relationships, or just really kind of reevaluating like what you value. And sometimes when we're doing an analysis of what we value, it often comes through situations that kind of cause us to question, like, is this what I really want? Is this how I want life to be? Is this how I want my relationship to be? Is this how I want to feel in my body? And so sometimes in these retrograde cycles, we're having to come face to face with these difficult things that are not easy to look at. And so we need to be really kind and really gentle with ourselves and with others right now, because all of us are going through so much. And you may not be aware, you know, you might see people on the street, or you might see your friends and family, and they've got a smile on their face, but we don't know what someone's internal struggle is. We don't know what someone is working through right now. So us as light workers and star seeds, whatever you want to call yourself, we're here to usher in this new time, which means that our self-care is so important, because we can't be our best for other people if we're not ready to serve with the full cup, if we're not giving ourselves this time. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the new moon, and then I want to kind of talk a little bit about the Lionsgate and what we went through over the past few weeks. So today we have a new moon in Leo, and it is It is influenced by a lot of Uranian energy. Now, Uranus is the planet that can often cause surprises and disruptions. And depending on if there are harmonious or challenging aspects, these can be like really good unexpected surprises, or it can be something that kind of shakes us, almost like this lightning bolt of truth that wakes us up to something that's no longer working in our lives. And so, because the sun is square to Uranus, we have a little bit of that disruptive energy where we're sort of being asked to look at what we value and who's in our lives and whether those people are valuing us, whether we're valuing ourselves. And if we're not valuing ourselves, if we're not prioritizing ourselves, if we're not allowing ourselves to move towards the things that we want to create in our life, sometimes we do need those wake up calls, those disruptions that kind of point out this is not the best path anymore. And so we also have Mercury that is trine to Uranus. So it's almost as if there's sort of like these two simultaneous energies that are happening. One is like this wake up call where we're faced with something in our lives, and it's all just going to depend on where this energy is being mapped out in our chart. And then we also have this energy of Mercury where suddenly when we're faced with that thing, we're faced with that challenge or that obstacle or that resistance, we have this moment where we can have these really beautiful epiphanies, where it's just recognizing that, like, no matter what's going on, we're we're okay. I sort of had one of those moments the other day where, you know, I have to tell you that these past few months have been extremely, extremely difficult. So many things in my life have felt like they're crumbling and falling apart and changing. And I've been experiencing the death of not one, but two of my beloved pets. And I just went through a painful heartbreak, and I dealt with several rejections last week and things that I felt really confident about. And the universe has just been telling me, you know, little by little, as I sit with these emotions, as I sit with these uncomfortable experiences, and, you know, alchemize them into beauty, as we're here to do, as we hold this mermaid DNA, that I just had this moment where I was teaching one of my dance classes, and suddenly I was just like filled with this like really deep feeling of joy. It was almost like I have nothing left to lose, you know, and like that might seem like a very it might seem like a very dark thought, but it's actually not, because there's this feeling that, like, when your happiness is no longer like attached to something, then it's sort of like a superpower. Like, you realize that, like, after all of like the blows that the universe gives you, that you just keep getting up, you keep getting up, and you keep getting stronger. And and there's always a solution, there's always a way. And when we're in those moments where we feel like we're beaten down, and then we get up and then we fall back down again, it doesn't always feel good. We have to acknowledge that. But we also have to understand, and these are the words that I shared in my email, that we're getting ready for the bounce back, that we're getting to a level of strength, both individually and collectively, that we have not had before on the planet. And so, you know, when we worked with the Lyrans in previous activations, they bring in, and if you want to learn more about the Lyrans, I have information here on this channel, as well as the replays of these previous activations. And they have a message about really like the revolution of celebration, where, you know, no matter what the dark agendas or whatever you want to call them want to take from us, or what they want to destroy, that there's this fire inside of us, there's this joy that is impenetrable. It's it's not able to be taken from us. And when we can access that space, then no matter what's happening, whatever rises, whatever falls, whatever's created, whatever's destroyed, we tap into this invincibility that allows us to not only move through the ebbs and flows of crisis or trauma, as well as elation and joy and ecstasy, all of these things. But we have this groundedness within us that recognizes that no matter what, we'll be okay, and that everything will be okay. And when we tap into that energy, both for ourselves and our individual lives, as well as for the people around us, that's when we become these vessels for creative solutions, for practical ways that we can help and support. And we also want to be mindful because, when we're in the wake of tragedies or destruction like we're experiencing on the planet, there will be more. And I don't say this to scare us. I say this to make us aware that we can often get lost in the destruction. We can often get distracted by what's happening, and there's parts of our ego that want to blame, right? Well, it's this group, it's these people, it's their fault if they weren't doing this. And we can see this on a global level as well as on an individual level in our own lives, right? It's like, if they didn't say this, if they didn't do that thing that triggered me or hurt me. But then we also have to recognize that it's all this mythic play. We're all heroes acting out these very mythic roles based upon these themes that have been going on for eons. And in order to ascend, in order to perfect our character, in order to start to play out better, more enjoyable roles, we have to acknowledge all of this without blame. And we have to recognize that it's almost like you can say no one's to blame because no one exists. And in truth, that's the reality, where we're all part of this one consciousness. And when we pan out, 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 it's the limitless nature of God. And when we go in, as we are here in the third dimension in lower and lower densities, that's when it starts to feel like there is a separation, like there is a difference. And it's really just about this honoring that all of this can be true at once. And even though, yes, we are God, and yes, the only thing that's real is love, we also have to acknowledge that we are playing these roles in the third dimension that create a lot of feelings, that create a lot of emotions, that create a lot of just challenge, both for ourselves and for others. And in this space, we have to understand that. Hold on just a moment. Hold on. I have my daughter here. My mom was supposed to be back and she's not. So give me just a moment. Aria, baby. Okay, come here. Okay, thank you. I'm so sorry. When you have a little one and your childcare does not come through, you got to do the best you can. Anyway, so as I was sharing, we just have to be really kind and gentle to ourselves. And that brings us to the Lion's Gate. So, in regular Lion's Gates, we feel this very powerful shift that happens right away. So it's almost as if we're catapulted into a higher timeline very significantly and very rapidly. But because we're in a specific space right now where we're in all of these retrograde energies, we're not feeling that. And so in addition to all of the challenges that we might be facing, we might be experiencing that disappointment that I thought I should be further by now. I thought this would have changed, or I thought that, this thing that I wanted to manifest would be here. And we have to acknowledge that we can have all of those feelings, but what my guides wanted to share with us in this integration ceremony today is that we're almost like in this incubator or this cocoon, however you want to see it, that the integration is going to start today. It's not like today is the completion and the integration. And then all of a sudden, like we're going to see these huge changes in the third dimension. This is a very, very unique time where right now we're stepping into a deeper place of preparation. So just to kind of go over again what happens in the Lion's Gate and what integration is that the Lion's Gate specifically is when our sun and earth and Sirius are all in alignment. So it's this portal between July 26th through August 12th where we are blasted with all of this beautiful Syrian light and information. And this is often the time where we'll shift into higher and higher timelines. And integration is the period where we start to have to bring all that energy in and allow it to change within our body. And as it changes within our body, we'll start to see that it changes within our lives. And so Betsy had mentioned that she's feeling drained or she's feeling tired. And feel free to share in the chat if you've been experiencing any of these things as well, where, sometimes when our body is trying to catch up with our consciousness, it takes time. You might feel more tired than usual. You might feel hungrier. You might feel not hungry. You might have these weird health things that have been going on. I know I had like a thing with my shoulder and my arm for like 2 weeks, and then it just went away. And so like all of these things are all sorts of different ways that our body is trying to cope with handling all of the amounts of activation that are taking place right now. So again, feel free to share in the chat if you've been experiencing any strange symptoms or if you've been feeling tired or just anything that might be going on. Oftentimes it's helpful if we share and we speak in our community about some of the things that we might be experiencing, because it often helps us to understand and know that we're not alone in some of these things. So I have my deck, the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle deck, and I don't know if I had a chance to put the link in or not, but it is available if you want to purchase it. And so I'm going to be I'm just honoring that it's just been one of those days. And that's okay. We can still show up regardless of how perfect or imperfect everything seems to be. Julie sharing, I'm full with energy, but hungry all the time. That's interesting. Leah, if you're on here, I feel like you were sharing the same thing. Both of us were just saying all we want to do is eat. All right. So let me see. I'm going to pull some cards from the deck here and see how we can integrate this energy. All right. So, okay. The first card that we have is, Leah's sharing yes. The first card that we have is abundance. And so the Mermaid Empowerment for Abundance is I'm infinite, abundant, and blessed. And this is what my guides were sharing about the bounce back, where, oftentimes it's like we have to recognize that what we're dealing with in our lives, it's not actually personal. We feel like it is. We feel like because our character is playing this role and our character is experiencing sadness or experiencing rejection or experiencing whatever it is, that it feels personal, right? But that's kind of that illusion of separateness that we're transcending when we recognize that as fractals of God consciousness within this form, we've all chosen to clear a certain amount of karma for the collective. So it's almost like our civic duty, just like, I don't know how it is in other countries, but at least in the US, we have jury duty where, you get a summons in the mail and you have to go serve on a jury, or at least you might have to choose that. And it's part of your civic duty, right? So we can kind of take this concept in a broader way, in a more interstellar way, that it's our it's our civic duty as light workers to clear a portion of the collective karma through our lived experience. And in mermaid consciousness, we do this through beauty. And so how does this relate to abundance? When we're going through difficult experiences, it's almost as if we're mining or trading in that karma for beauty, for blessings, for miracles. So even if it feels like for a short period of time, or maybe for a long period of time, you're going through a lot of difficulties, a lot of challenges, a lot of setbacks, a lot of roadblocks, that you're carving out your path to receive more abundance. So it's basically like our payoff, or the trade-off for choosing to clear this collective karma, is so that we can receive our inherent birthright, which is abundance, which is blessings. And the Lion's Gate is all about blessings. And it's interesting because this card here, abundance, shows the Lemnis Gate, which looks very much like the figure 8, and that is the symbol for infinity. And so we have to recognize that even if it's not here yet, that abundance is coming, that miracles are coming, that new opportunities are coming. And in the meantime, what we can do is we can focus on gratitude. So the mermaid empowerment for gratitude is, I have an attitude of gratitude. It took me a second. I have an attitude of gratitude. So we have to recognize that gratitude is this magnetic energy that brings the abundance to us. So if we want to create more abundance, we have to be grateful for what we already have. And sometimes it doesn't feel like there's a lot to be grateful for, right? Sometimes it feels like there's a lot of things that aren't the way that we'd like them to be. But if we can find that one thing and we can start to focus on that one thing, then, little by little, more things are going to come through. And there was one more thing I wanted to say about the blessing. So if it comes back to me, I'll share it. But the challenge that I'm seeing here right now is bliss, where I embody the bliss of my soul's true purpose. And because I see this in the challenge, I want you to ask yourself, where do you feel like you're not in alignment with your soul's purpose? We all know that there's a feeling, there's something that we're supposed to do. Maybe you don't know exactly what it is. For some of us, it's very broad, like we're just supposed to radiate a certain energy of love and light. For some of us, it's very specific, where we have creative projects to complete, or we have teachings or curriculums, or we're supposed to be part of a certain community or contribute something somewhere. But because this is in the challenge, I feel like there's something that's keeping us from believing that it's possible to create abundance from that thing, which is very interesting, because as we start to really begin to trust our higher selves and trust our spirit guides and our star family, we're going to be asked to go into spaces of uncertainty where we really have to follow our heart. And because we're in sort of this very transitionary period where we're having to go back and clear a lot of things, it might not look like there's a lot of things happening. And my guides are sharing not to give up and not to feel like it's not possible. Yay, Julie sharing, I'm ready. Awesome. Yay. And also, Betty, I saw you shared all is well is what I hear in my soul. I love that. And we can't give up. We can't give up on our purpose or our dreams or our path and feel like maybe I should choose the safer route. Maybe I should just stay in this work situation that isn't giving me peace because at least I can depend on this paycheck. Or, maybe I should stay in whatever situation is not fulfilling the bliss of your soul that you were designed for. And it doesn't mean that, you should make a rash decision and act impulsively, because right now is not necessarily a time for change. It's a time for revision. So it's just about listening and looking at the beliefs within you that are causing you to believe that it's not possible to live in your bliss and live in your truth and prosper and have abundance and be able to live a very abundant life where you can be of service to yourself and to humanity and to the earth. So the action that we need to focus on is self-love. And the mermaid empowerment for self-love is I love the fins I'm in. So in a Venus retrograde, it's all about love, right? And oftentimes we get kind of distracted by romantic love and wanting or desiring that, which there's nothing wrong with that. It's a really beautiful way that we can learn about ourselves and others, and we can open our heart chakras. But the truest love is the love within us, the love that is directly from source, that's radiating within us. And because we're all really here to clear so much collective viral programming, there's so much programming in the collective that has caused us to judge ourselves or blame ourselves or criticize ourselves or compare ourselves to other people or compare ourselves to other versions of us. I mean, it goes on and on and on. And we just really got to start loving ourselves. I mean, it sounds kind of cheesy, right? Oh, all you got to do is love yourself. That's it. But that's it. That's the work. We've got to love ourselves exactly the way we are, as these perfectly imperfect, beautiful beings. And once we start loving ourselves, we also have to crown ourselves. And that's the other aspect of this. The mermaid empowerment is I crown myself as the star of my reality. So when we crown ourselves, it's like we take back our power and we choose to say, this is what I want. This is what I'm worthy of. This is what I deserve. And I'm not going to wait for somebody else to tell me that I have enough credentials or certificates or degrees to be doing this thing that I want to do, or that, I'm prepared enough. We're never going to be prepared enough. We get prepared on location in whatever we're doing. And so we've got to really just take it upon ourselves to recognize that we are these very powerful beings of light, and we're all needed, and we're all very wise, very ancient souls that are, here a part of something very big. And the final card from the mermaid empowerment is believe. I believe it and receive it. And so this is very different than, some of the sayings out there, like, I'll believe it when I see it. If you've ever heard someone say that, belief is really what brings that thing through. And that's why this is probably the darkest card in the deck, because it's recognizing that in the darkest moments when we don't see the evidence, that it's our belief that it will happen, that things will get better, that the best is yet to come. That's what's going to carry us. So before we step into the little activation that the Mermaids of Sirius have for us today, I just wanted to open again the chat if anyone has any questions, anyone wants to share anything. And yeah, let's just support each other and be here for each other, and know that, there are so many of us all over the world that are waking up, and sometimes it can feel very lonely because it doesn't always feel like the people in our family or our workplace or our neighborhood are on this same wavelength, right? And sometimes we might even judge ourselves and think like, oh, are people going to think I'm weird if I talk about this? Yeah, Mariela is sharing, we have to believe in order to receive. You're absolutely right, Mariela. So, all right. I feel like we could definitely use some activations. Let's just go ahead and get comfortable in this space. And I want you to just take a deep breath in, exhaling it out, taking another deep breath in, exhaling it out. And as you continue to breathe, we consecrate this space for only the highest vibrations of love, truth, healing, and peace. And we choose to align with the highest frequency of love, the highest good of all, and the highest timeline for all. And you may begin to visualize that this beautiful white light directly from source consciousness begins to descend like a dove of peace. And it flows through your crown chakra, through your third eye, your throat, your heart, your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, your root chakra, all the way down to your feet. And this beautiful light begins to pour out of you, creating a bubble of white light around you. And this bubble of white light begins to shift and change into pinks and purples and blues and greens. And we're now being surrounded by the rainbow light energy of Sirius that will support us in our travels today. And so now my etheric body is stepping out of my body into the room with you and gently pulling your etheric body out of your body. And a stargate begins to appear above our head, 6 feet in diameter, whirling and whizzing in lapis blue and golden light. And we are taken up, up, up across dimensional frequencies and realities, up, up, up across stars, planets, and galaxies, up, up, up. And the elevator doors open, and we step out into the Syrian Star Nation in Sirius B, in this really beautiful mermaid cove where the mermaids of Sirius are here today. And so you might begin to feel the coolness of the electric blue waters, or you might begin to feel the breeze as you see all of the multicolored neon palm trees swaying above you. You might begin to hear the sounds of these really divine waterfalls that are just filled with the purity of spirit, the purity of your heart. You might just feel the tranquility of this space, that whatever might be bothering you, whatever feels challenging or restricting, that these beautiful waters are just nourishing you and offering you this space of relief where you can just breathe and you can let go and you can just allow. You might begin to see the tails, the fins of some of the mermaids of Sirius that are beginning to swim around you. And as you are in these electric blue waters, you might begin to feel that you are shape-shifting into your own mermaid form. And so just take a moment to look down and see, what does your tail look like? Your beautiful mermaid tail. What does it feel like? What color is it? Is there like a luminescent shine? Is it red or green or rainbow? And notice if your hair has changed or if you feel different in these waters in this mermaid form. And so the mermaids of Sirius are just kind of swimming around us in this really beautiful lemniscate form. And they're beginning to sing these really beautiful songs in the Syrian mermaid light language. So it might just sound like very beautiful frequencies, like just, I can't even describe it, almost just this angelic, otherworldly, ethereal, but motherly and very calming song. These songs that also might feel very familiar to your soul, very familiar to your spirit. And so as you are just allowing yourself to be in this space, in this beautiful pool, along with the mermaids of Sirius, just think about what has transpired from July 26th through now. Maybe you experienced some pain, some difficulties. Maybe there were setbacks. Maybe you experienced rejection. Maybe something came to a sudden and abrupt ending and it blindsided you. It caught you off guard. Maybe it was just a feeling of anxiety or just not feeling your best. Maybe you've been dealing with issues in your body and it just has caused you to feel a little less hopeful than usual. Maybe you have been struggling with unproductive thoughts, or maybe you just feel overwhelmed in general, or maybe you're just really concerned or worried about what's going on in the world and it's dimming your light. Just take a moment to acknowledge everything that's happened and just breathe into it, into this compassionate witnessing of what's happening, of what's happened. Oftentimes we're so busy. We're always moving from one thing to the next thing to the next thing. And we don't always get the moment or the chance to just contemplate what has happened and why. And we don't always have the time to let our bodies really feel it, let our hearts really feel all of the growth that has happened. We've gone through a lot individually and collectively. And you might not see it as growth, but every difficult experience has created tremendous growth within your spirit, tremendous growth within your life. And it's almost where we're having to believe and trust right now that this is happening because it's not yet being mirrored within our external reality. So you've got to trust it. But in order to call in the external representation of this internal growth, you've got to believe and you've got to feel whatever needs to be felt. So, in this space of safety and protection, along with the mermaids of Sirius, just allow yourself to breathe into whatever needs to be felt, whatever didn't get to be felt. Maybe you might be experiencing sadness right now, or loneliness, or isolation. Maybe you feel separate from other people. Maybe you feel surrounded by all sorts of people and you don't have a moment to check in with yourself. This is that moment. And I just want you to really just feel this energy of gratitude for your heroic human journey. Every step, both the beautiful and amazing, wonderful moments, and those moments of grief and challenge and setback. Can you celebrate yourself for all of life, the totality of life? And so now the mermaids are beginning to point upwards, and we're beginning to see this sort of holographic image of our earth that is materializing above us. And so we're sort of bilocating. We're in this multidimensional container where, we're feeling the high frequency energy of Sirius, but we're also present wherever we are on the earth plane. And so the reason why we do these sorts of activations is because it creates what's called a mental mapping or a mental imprint of these other higher frequency spaces that we can take into this other moment that we're also existing in. So as you begin to sort of visualize and take in this holographic image of the earth, I want you to feel the same in the same way that you did from your individual experience from the Lionsgate portal from July 6th through August 12th. And I want you to just feel into your body and notice if you're feeling anything collectively, and recognize that, we are all empathic, but we don't have to take on the suffering of the world, but we can compassionately witness it. And it's actually the power of our witnessing that creates the healing and the integration for everything individually and collectively. So as you look upon this holographic view of the earth, perhaps there are images that are arising for you, or perhaps there's just feelings or emotions. We're all going to experience psychic or spiritual information in different ways. We all have spiritual gifts that are more active than others. So however you're receiving this information is going to be perfect for you. And remember that right now it's not about having to fix or change anything, but it's simply witnessing. There's a story of Ishtar or Inanna in other versions of this story, where she has to go from the earth into the underworld because there are members on the earth that are saying that there are these terrible cries from the underworld and it's disrupting the human experience. And so she has to pass through these 7 gates into the underworld. And it's a representation of, healing our chakras. And it's also a representation of Venus. She can represent almost this Venus retrograde of having to go into the underworld of our hearts and take back the pain through our witnessing. And when she arrives in the underworld, she sees that her sister is in immense pain and turmoil, and she's had to get rid of everything on her journey there. She had nothing. The only thing that she could offer her sister was the witnessing of her pain. And it was that witnessing that saved her sister. And so the Mermaids of Sirius are reminding us of this story today, to recognize that the greatest gift that we can have to ourselves and to others is this witnessing, without turning away from the sadness or the pain, without blaming others, without making ourselves wrong for it. We can open our hearts to ourselves and to each other and to the world. And through this witnessing, we can call in these higher frequencies of light from Sirius that can allow for solutions that would not be possible in the way that the problems were created in the density that we're in. So we're doing some multidimensional healing work in this moment. And I want you to just feel and notice if your heart chakra is beginning to open a little bit wider, even if just a little bit. And the Mermaids of Sirius are asking that in this moment today, that we choose to keep our hearts open, even if they temporarily close because we experience a heartbreak or a setback, or we're triggered from some type of childhood conditioning, that we still set the intention that we will keep our hearts open and that we will continue witness with the eyes of compassion what is happening on the planet at this time, and know that even if it feels like things are getting worse individually or collectively, that it's simply a moment, a brief moment in time where there is a clearing that's happening for new energies and new frequencies to take place. And so the Mermaids of Sirius are finally just swimming towards each of you, and they're placing this beautiful pearl within your third eye chakra so that you have the power to see from the mind of God. When you get into a place of fear or worry that you cannot see the solution, this pearl will allow you to come back into the mind of God, where all answers are formed. And so just begin to take a few more moments to receive any insights or information. And a stargate begins to appear above our head, and we are taken up, up, up across dimensional frequencies and realities, up, up, up across stars, planets, and galaxies, up, up, up. And the elevator doors open, and we step back into the room that we're seated in. So your etheric body steps back into your body, and my etheric body steps back into mine, and the sacred space is now closed. And so as you're ready, just go ahead and open your eyes and wiggle your fingers and your toes, and feel free to share in the chat how you're feeling, if you experienced any breakthroughs, or if you just wanted to share how you feel. This is a moment where we can witness each other and witness whatever we experience. So I'll just give you guys a moment to kind of come back into this space. I'm definitely feeling a lot more peace. A lot more peace. Hopefully you guys are also experiencing that as well. And hi, Erica. I saw your comments. I'm so happy to have you here. So I'm going to be doing one more giveaway today as well for a mermaid reading. So from my deck, the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle deck. So if you're interested in participating in this giveaway, all you have to do is just write your name into the chat, and I will choose person for the mermaid channeled reading. And it'll be a pre-recorded reading, so you'll have the opportunity email me your questions or anything that you'd like me to take into the channeled space, and I would be happy to support you in that. And also, I didn't get a chance to share in the activation because we were so focused, but the Syrian white lions and tigers, there are two different breeds of Syrian big cats that really just want to make their presence known, and for you to be able to oh, you're welcome, Sonia, you're welcome, Betsy, thank you, everyone, just to recognize that you're really protected and held by these big cat energies. And so I just encourage you, if it resonates with you, to call upon both of the the Syrian white lions and the Syrian tigers, and call on their support and their protection. Oh, you're welcome. Welcome, everyone. Oh, you realized a lot, Mariela. I love that. You're welcome, Dragonfly 5D. Okay, so I'm feeling today that Betsy Hamilton is our winner. So thank you, Julie. So congratulations, Betsy. And you can email me at officialmeaganmermaid at gmail.com. And I will, or you can go to meaganmermaid.com and click on that contact button, and you able to reach me, and I'll be happy to do that reading for you. And remember that I'm doing giveaways usually monthly now, at least once a month. So if you didn't have an opportunity today, you'll have many more opportunities in the future to message me. Sorry, I'm still not all the way here, I guess, from Sirius, to have an opportunity to win other things. And again, if you don't have your copy of the Mermaid Empowerment Oracle deck yet, it is available, and I'm super excited to be here, and I know that amazing things are in store for all of us. So just remember, get ready for that bounce back, and a month, maybe not a month, because we're probably going to feel the energies really, the big shifts in our energy by October. So I just see us in a timeline 2 months from now, and everybody's sharing in the chat all of the wonderful things that have happened, and we're all just cheering each other on. So let's just plant that seed in our consciousness that we're already on the way there, and that really beautiful things are happening for us. So thank you guys so much for being here, and thank you for your grace and understanding when I had to take a moment and make sure my daughter was taken care of. Oh yay, Betsy sharing, I felt several parts of my plan that I came in with at birth. Wow, that's so awesome, Betsy. So thank you, everyone, and I wish you a wonderful day. Thank you, Elizabeth. Amazing grace to you as well. Yes, we can wait 2 more months, Sonia. We've waited all of this time. We can wait 2 more months. Even us fire signs are not very patient. All right. Well, I love you guys, and thank you so much for joining live or on the replay. And again, you can check out meaganmermaid.com if you want to learn more about my work or how to work with me. Have a great day. Happy new moon.